God, it just started. My voice immediately got dry. Hello, hello. I got this ask on Tumblr that was like, I remember you saying something along the lines of that you envisioned what you wanted in life and actively pursued it. Can you expand on it more? Because honestly, I have to do the same, but I don't know where to start. Congrats on your bundle of joy, by the way. Thank you for congratulating me on the birth of my daughter. And I completely understand what you mean in this question because figuring out what you want in life is not easy. It really does take a lot of time for you to really have to sit and think and discover yourself. Part of what makes it so difficult is that we spend so much time worrying about what other people want of us, what we feel like we're supposed to do, like, like in a peer pressure sense. You're giving in to societal expectations of you. Then there's also family expectations of you and things like that. You spend a lot of time online, and other people's achievements make you question the things that you've achieved. And it's like, oh, is this good enough? Is this not good enough? Should I be doing more? A lot of that, it all goes into play. And it's really hard, especially when you're young, coming of age, and you start feeling like you're running out of time, which is so funny because if you're really young, like you start thinking that you're older than what you are. Like you're aware of your age, but you just feel so much older. Like, oh my gosh, I'm not a millionaire by age 18. Like, yeah, no one is. There's like a few people that are, but they are the outlier. That's what makes them, that's why we care so much, because it's like not to be expected. So, how did I envision what I want in life and actively pursue it? Well, first step was I've mentioned this before, but I did not used to have any social media at all. Right now, obviously, I have a Tumblr account, which is where this question was sent from. But other than that, I don't have an Instagram, I don't have a TikTok, I don't have a Twitter, um, I don't have a Reddit. I don't know, what else do people use? I don't have it. So, because I wasn't on social media, I was sort of forced to spend time alone and just really think about what it is that makes me happy, what it is that makes me excited to get out of bed every day, what can I see myself doing every day and not hate my life, right? Because growing up, I had thought that I had it all figured out. I knew for the longest time that I wanted to be a pharmacist. I, tailored my entire high school career towards that, making sure that I was picking the right classes for it, getting letters of recommendation. I worked at a hospital. I was shadowing pharmacists. I was ready to go. And then I changed my mind. And for the first time, really, I did not know what I wanted to do with my life. Like I had all of these extra like hobbies and extracurriculars. I was like taking language lessons. I was doing ballet. I took taekwondo. I was like doing all just a bunch of different stuff. But I'm like, I now all of a sudden, I don't know what I want anymore. I don't know what I should do for a career. I don't know if I want a career. I don't know anything. I moved away from I moved to California, and I was just focused on nothing, but like in a positive way. I decided that I was going to take some time off from everything and just do what I want. I was reading a lot of books. I was watching a lot of really good movies. I was spending so much time outside, just going for like long walks at the crack of dawn. I was getting to know my style because, like I said, I didn't have any social media, so I wasn't really being influenced by trends on the internet and what other people are saying this is what you should have. It was just, okay, I'm wearing this outfit, I'm comfortable in this, but I feel a little awkward in that. These are the colors I'm gravitating towards, just everything like that. And it allowed me to really, really deeply get to know myself, which is really important as a teenager coming into young adulthood because I got to be really self assured and I got to be really headstrong. It made me like really confident in myself and my decisions when I was being like very self directed. And so in my notes app, my pride and joy, I made a list of what would be the perfect day for me, like from the moment I wake up until I go to bed at night. And I still have the list. I may share it. Um, and it started at this is the time I would wake up, this is what I would do, here, 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 and here. And again, this was just a perfect day. Like if there was no limits, money's not an issue, location, whatever. Just what would be the perfect day for me? And I wrote that all out and I'm like, okay, well, then I should do what I can to tailor my life to make that happen. And this can be subject to change. What you may consider to be your perfect day when you're 18 may be different when you're 30 or 40, but at the very least, you're working for what you think will be, the perfect day for you. And that is what that's what you should do to tailor your life for. So I was thinking about, okay, here's what I think would be the perfect day because the reason why it has to be the perfect day is because that's what life is. We can only live one day at a time. So your days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into months, and months turn into years, and your years, that is your life. Your every day turns out to be your life. If you are someone who only goes to work, then comes home and gets drunk, that's your life. That's all you did. So, in order for me to decide what I want out of life, really the main thing I needed to focus on, because for me, it was really difficult to think about the really big picture, like the big, long lifespan of it all. Like, that's so abstract. It felt so far away. So, just focusing on what would be the perfect day really made it a lot easier. And so, I decided these are the types of things I would like to do in this way. And what I realized is that I definitely like having my own schedule. So that limits the sort of careers I should be having. I put a big emphasis on self care. On my list, it was like, oh, I would wake up at this time after like a long night's rest, and I would have. I want to pull up the list. I don't know if I'm going to show it to you, but at the very least, I want to look at it myself. Oh, how cute! Okay. I wrote this March 2nd, 2020 at 11:34 p.m. So I was laying in bed, like couldn't sleep, thinking about this. Um, mentioning about the gym, facials and skincare. I mentioned the type of clothes I'm wearing, what I'm studying, what I'm eating, yes, lots of stuff. Bubble baths, reading in the tub. Like, girl, I realized that what I care a lot about is just having the leisure to do what I want, to take care of myself. There's other stuff in there as well, but this one exercise really changed everything for me because thinking about it further, so what I did was I just wrote it down in like a bullet point list of like, first I would do this, wake up at this time, then, the next task would be doing this, and the following task would be such and such. And then underneath it, I wrote it all out, like this long paragraph explaining it all, Why do I want this stuff? Who would I like to be doing it with, Would there be a partner involved? Am I married? Am I having kids? Stuff like that. But it all started with just figuring out what would be the perfect day for me that not just like you only do it once, but like what would I ideally, what would be my daily routine, give or take. That really allowed me to like just see what it is that I want for myself because I was just being brutally honest about it. I'm not going to think about what society wants for me. I'm not going to think about what my parents want for me. I'm not going to think about any of that. Just be honest with yourself. Just describe what would make you happy. What is it that you like? Basically, what I'm saying is, I think the first step, the thing that makes it so difficult is being honest with yourself about what it is that you like and disconnecting other people's expectations off of you. Just like putting yourself in a vacuum and really allowing yourself to get to know yourself. Um, because, like I said, I wanted to be a pharmacist before. And part of that was, I mean, I did genuinely like pharmacy. I still like pharmacy. I still love the career. I still respect it a lot. And, theoretically, I could still do it. Well, not right now. I wouldn't do it. But, I do still like it. It's just not what I want to do because I was thinking about what that day-to-day life would look like. And you know what? It's not for me. Um, I respect it. I love it. I think it's cool. But right now, I was thinking about what my life would look like long term, 5 years, 10 years, 20, 40, 50 years. Is that what I want my everyday to be? And the answer was no. And like I said about detaching yourself from other people's expectations, part of it was that my brother went to school for pharmacy as well, and I do a lot of the things that my siblings did. They're really in so many ways, they're really, really great role models. I can take this from that person, this from that person. And my brother is someone that I really looked up to a lot growing up, and still now I do as. But I really respected him a lot. I thought that he just made the greatest decisions. He's just so cool. He taught himself how to speak Spanish. I'm like, I want to learn Spanish. He taught himself how to play guitar. I want to play guitar. Like he's just so. We would like share books with each other. Like just anything that he's doing, I want to do it too. And it's like that with one of my sisters as well. So it's partly that I'm like, oh, I want to follow in my brother's footsteps. The other thing is that growing up, every sibling gets sort of like a label on them. Oh, this is the smart one. This is the funny one. This is the such and such. I was definitely always known as like the smartest or one of the smartest because I have other siblings that are like brilliant as well. And I'm like, well, I can't let this go to waste. Like, I need to choose like a really like highbrow, respectable career. And my school had a lot of programs for the students to sort of like test out a career. My high school is what I'm talking about, had a lot of uh, programs that would allow you to like test out your career before you fully commit to it, which is so cool. And I really wish every high school was like that. Like if you wanted to be a teacher, you could start like teaching. So for me, I was on the medical path and it allowed me to work at a hospital and everything. So I only had to go to like English and math, and then I was at the hospital for like the rest of the day. So I wanted to be a pharmacist because I'm also thinking about like my family's expectations of me. And, once I accepted that I don't want to be a pharmacist after all, it was like weird because I'm like, well, what should I do then? And I'm like, what does my family want from me? And I'm like, it's not their life. It's my life. They're already living their lives. They've already made their decisions. They've already made their paths. It's my turn. Like if you follow me on Tumblr, something that you've probably heard me say it a lot, and I'm going to keep saying it because it's just so true, is that no one else asks you for permission before they do stuff. They just do it. You're the one that's constantly waiting on everybody else to give you permission. But why? You don't need anyone else's permission. You go outside, everyone decided this is what they're gonna wear, this is what they're gonna eat, this is what they're gonna do, this is what they're gonna say. But you're like, oh, I can't wear this outfit, I can't do this and that. Like, why not? There's no permission slip. Just do it. Literally, just do it. And that mindset like completely changed me. That's what made me have like the freedom to detach myself from everyone else's expectations. And I could finally, fully, freely do as I want. And so when I was laying in bed at 11 p.m., making a list of what I thought would be the perfect day and how I would want to live my life and the kind of man I would want to be married to and just the lifestyle I want to live, I got to finally feel like really authentic coming into adulthood and deciding for myself it's okay for me to walk away from something that I previously thought I wanted. And I didn't want it because I'm like, oh, my family wants this for me. Like, I genuinely wanted it. The bonus was that it was gonna be like very approved by my family and society and stuff. I could introduce myself as a pharmacist and be like, oh, cool. And my family would be like proud of it and stuff. By the way, my family's still very proud of me for the other decisions that I've made. Um, they did not care that I changed my mind about being a pharmacist. They were like, oh, okay, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, oh. So I thought it was going to be this like big ordeal, and it was not. It never is. But yeah, I got to like really be free in making decisions for myself. So once I was sat there thinking this all out, and I remember that night I was up for a while gathering inspiration and just like really imagining myself living the life that I live now every day for 5 years, 10 years, 20, 30, 40, 50. And I'm just like, that is what I want. Now, since then, things have been modified. I've gotten, a few years older and I have more life experience, more ideas have come into my head of what else I would like to spend my life doing. So everything that you see there, which is sort of a life of leisure, and it's like I get to spend a lot of time on just health and wellness and fitness and cooking and traveling and being with my children, having spending time with my friends, stuff like that, studying, just learning whatever I want, reading all the books in the world, watching all the movies that I want to see, researching this, researching that, just like it's like positive indulgence because I'm not just like being like a hedonistic, I don't know, whatever. I felt so good. I'm like, this is exactly what I want. But, now I know that I also want to, there are other things I want to do as well. And that's okay. You are allowed to modify what you want. So, step number one is to free yourself from the idea that you have to rely on other people's opinions to decide what you want. Step two is realizing that you are also allowed to change your mind. I change my mind about stuff all the time. And it's a very good thing to do. I don't feel forced to be like stuck in a box because that's how you feel trapped. I'm never trapped. You can't trap me. People will live a life and it's like, oh, I can't leave my job. I can't leave this. I can't leave that. I feel so trapped. You're not trapped. You are not trapped. Everybody, and I do mean everybody, is one decision away from changing their whole life. You can, like, literally, even if you feel like you can't, you can quit your job, break up with whoever, fly across the country, and live somewhere else tonight. Now, obviously, there are things that could prevent you, like, oh, I don't have the money for this, I don't have the money for that, but like, you could get it if you wanted to. But anyway, what I'm saying is, nobody's trapped. Is that relevant to the question? Let me read the question again. And actively pursued it. Can you expand on it more? Because honestly, I have to do the same, but I don't know where to start. Okay. So I think I explained enough about how I envisioned what I want in life. How did I actively pursue it? So basically, what I did was just I went through every single thing that I wrote down. I'm just like, how can this be a part of my life? What do I need to acquire this? Where do I need to live? Who do I need to know? What kind of people do I need to be around? How much money is required? What this, what that? You know what I mean? What degree do you need? All of that. Just make a list of what you need to accomplish that. That might be difficult depending on what it is that you decide what you want for yourself because I don't know, some stuff you may not know what you need if you've never been around it or you don't know anyone that has it. So you may be like going off vague stuff, but that's what the internet's for. You can Google it or make a post and wait for people to respond to it, So actively pursuing it. That part was very fun. And if you know me, you know I am always, always, always in the pursuit of a new goal. It never stops. That is like the driving force of my life is just always having a new goal to propel me forward because I just think it is so fun. So thinking about what I want for my life and not wanting to feel the sickness of complacency made me just so excited to wake up every morning and like hop to it. So once I decided, like, oh, I want to study computer science, I want to go back to, ballet because I started dancing ballet when I was 3 and I stopped for a while. I moved and I just didn't join a new studio and things like that. So I'm just like, I want to get back into ballet. I want to get married. Oh, I just got a notification saying that my husband just deposited money into my account. He is so sweet. Um, I knew that I wanted to get back to ballet. I knew I wanted to get married. I knew I wanted to have children. I knew that I wanted to have a life that is, I won't say it's like necessarily just, if I say life of leisure, I don't know what the connotations behind that are. I heard that phrase on Tumblr and I don't know if there's like some movement behind it. So I'm going to explain what I mean by that. By that, I mean I get to make my schedule because I don't like work a 9 to 5 job or anything like that. So it's like if I want to stay up all night, I can. If I want to work, if I want to sleep in, I can. If I want to go get my nails done, I can. If I want to go shopping at, 4 p.m. on a random Monday morning, I can't. You know what I mean? Just like the fact that I can just do the stuff that I like at my own will, that to me is just the greatest thing in the world. Like I wouldn't trade this for anything. It's just I started actively pursuing it and never letting what I want slip away from me, never losing sight of the big picture because it's so easy to get comfortable. It is way too easy to get comfortable. Think of it like this. Say, for instance, you're like, okay, I know that I want this grand life, okay? To get started, you need a job. Say you don't have a job. You find a job. At your job, you're making, let's say 50,000 a year. And let's say you live in a place where that's enough. It's not, you're not balling, right? You're not, that you don't have like a crazy amount of money. You have like a little bit of room to save, a little bit of room to like buy something cool every once in a while. But for the most part, you're just kind of comfortable. That's scary because you can get trapped in that life where everything's comfortable enough where you don't really feel the encouragement to change anymore and to keep actively pursuing what it is that you want. you know it's just like, well, what I have right now is fine, and you can't fall for that trap. You have to make it to the finish line, and if you can't make it all the way to the finish line, you at least have to get close. Like I said, what you do every day becomes your life. Like it's nothing to play with. You really have to actively pursue it. Most people, they fall into that trap. They have a goal of this like nice life that they're gonna live, and then they end up in something comfortable. You end up in a relationship that's comfortable enough. You end up at a job that's comfortable enough. You get, you scratch off a few things on your list, and then you get comfortable and you feel fine for a while because it's fine for a while, but then the years go by, 5 years, 10, 20, 30, 40, and you look back and you're just like, you're not happy. This isn't the life that you want. You have to pursue it. You have to know what you want. You have to really get to know yourself and then be ruthless. If the things being presented to you, the obstacles in your way, the people in your way, if they're there trying to stop you from getting what you want, you have to bulldoze right past it. And I mean that from like with every fiber of my being. You have to bulldoze past it. I can look back on times where I almost got comfortable, oops, wrong relationship. This isn't the kind of person that's gonna get me to what I need. Oops, wrong job. This job may not be the one that's gonna, get me to where I wanna be. Just you come up, maybe the things that you want, it just seems like the opportunity is so far away. You'll just take what's in front of you at the moment, but that is not good enough. I don't know if I if I answered this in like a satisfactory enough way. I don't know if this actually like helped you make a decision on what to do. But basically to sum it up, what I did was I was completely off social media. I wasn't really spending much time on the internet. much at all. I was just like, I was away from my family. I was just very focused on the things that I like, getting to know myself, really just like growing up, finding myself. And then after I really got comfortable with who I am and like not being influenced by everyone else's opinions, I made a list of what would be my perfect day. I wrote it all out, explaining why it is that I want what I want, and I made a plan on how to accomplish it, figuring out all of the variables that it takes for each step of the way, and then, the thing as a whole to decide how am I going to get it. And I just never lost sight of my goals. I studied really hard. I worked really hard. I made sure that I was constantly, choosing good people to be around. I made sure that I was choosing only to entertain, high quality men, really positive people in my life. Always just trying to put myself in the right position to be on the right track. And it paid off in the end because I wake up every day just like very in love with my life. I don't want to switch places with anyone else, even though there are plenty of people on this earth who have way more stuff than I do. They've got way more money, they've got gigantic houses, they've got this and that. I don't want to be them. I love my life. I love the things that I have, and I love the things that I will accomplish going forward. I don't have it yet, but I will have it soon. And that's how you should feel. That's how you're supposed to feel. You should really love yourself. You should love your life. You should love your choices. And that does not happen by just letting your days be blobs of nothing that just keep rolling into the next. And you end up having a blob of a week, a blob of a month, a blob of a year, and you look back on the past decade of your life and you're just like, what have I done? And you think about the future and you're like, oh God, that's scary. Is this all there is to life? It doesn't have to be. It really doesn't have to be. Um, Also, just remember that not everybody wants the same thing out of life. Like for some people, their dream life is living in like a tiny little cottage with some chickens and sitting by a candle reading like poetry books all day. And for some people, their dream life is to be, top of the Billboard charts, touring the world, being a singer. Other people, it could be, just maybe it could be just like a comfortable position at a job where maybe you make like, let's say 150K a year and you have a, nice moderate to nice size house and you're surrounded by family and you got like a pool in the backyard and it just everybody wants the same thing. So once you like are completely honest with yourself and you can write out what you want, you shouldn't be comparing it to anyone else's life, because at that point you're thinking about what is their perfect day, what's their life, and it's about you. This is your life. There's no need to compare it to anyone else's because they're not asking you for permission. So you need to stop asking the world for permission. You need to stop copying off of other people's tests because it's just not going to get you where you want to be. Once you do all of that, just, like I said, be ruthless. Go after what you want. And when you get there, when you make it to the finish line, even before you make it to the finish line, honestly, even I was here just like approaching it, you will be so glad that you stayed on track and that you are working towards having a life that you love, because you will look around you and you will see a lot of miserable people. And it's sad. It's sad. But it's nice to know that you won't be one of them. And that is something that is priceless. To be one of the few people on this earth who can truly say that you love your life and that you're proud of the decisions that you made. Once you know what you want, hold on to it tight. Remember that other people have already lived their life without your permission, right? So they don't need to agree with it. It's not about them, it's about you. What is your perfect day? Your daily life that would just make you be in love with it, that would make you not want to trade places with anyone else. Because before, when I was thinking about the kind of life I would like, I'm still thinking about other people's. I would consider my life and then think about someone else walking by and she's like, oh, I wish I had that. Oh, I wish I was her. And it's just like, That's how you know that you haven't figured it out yet. You'll know that you have decided officially what is your perfect life when there's no other scenario where you're like, oh, I would trade places with that person. Yeah, there may be certain elements of someone else's life that you may like, but as a whole, you shouldn't want to trade places with anybody else. I'm talking about you like just living your life, and it's just you don't envy anyone else's life. You're aware of the fact that everyone has problems, everyone has struggles, but at the very least, the problems and struggles that you've chosen are ones that you can bear. That's what, yes, every life, no matter what path you take, every life will have struggles. It will have ups and it will have downs. What's important is that you choose a life where the struggles are struggles that you can handle it, and the downs, you can handle it. Anyway, that is how I decided what I wanted. Lots of self discovery alone without other people to influence me. Making a list, a detailed list of what I would like, really going in depth on what it is, why do I want that? Why would this make me happy? How can I get it? And then just showing up and doing the work every single day. It's actually pretty simple. So I hope this helped you. If not, whoops. Bye.